Hi all, my name's Chandler, and a quick note before we dive in here. I spent my first few years here on the onboarding and implementation side, helping teams actually get set up and get value out of the platform. So what I'm going to show you today isn't just how the features work, it's how teams are actually using them. And a quick legal slide here, standard forward-looking statements, disclaimer, nothing too exciting, but the real question is, why are we here? So let's quickly discuss that before we jump into the platform. So here's the situation we see constantly when we talk to marketing teams, and I'm guessing at least a few of these boxes are going to feel familiar. Assets are scattered everywhere, shared drives, Dropbox, email threads, someone's desktop that nobody else can access. And the problem isn't just that it's messy, it's that it creates this ripple effect that falls directly on your team. Your sales reps are out there sending decks and one-pagers that were updated 6 months ago. Your franchisees or regional teams are putting together materials with whatever logo they can find on Google, or worse, the one from before the rebrand. Your agency is emailing you, asking for the same files they already requested twice, and your marketing team, instead of doing actual marketing work, is just fielding requests all day. Hey, can you send me the logo? Where are the Q3 campaign photos? Which version of this deck is current? And this last box here, unable to measure, is the one that really sneaks up on people. You've invested real money creating this content, but you have no idea what's actually being used, what's sitting there untouched, or where the gaps are. You're making content decisions completely blind. What makes all of this particularly frustrating is that the content exists. You've invested in creating it, it just isn't findable, it isn't controlled, and it isn't getting to the right people in a reliable way. And that's exactly what Brandfolder is built to solve. What I'm going to show you today is how marketing teams use Brandfolder as their single source of truth, and specifically how that plays out across 3 use cases that come up constantly: franchisee and multi-location brand control, sales enablement, and working with external agencies. The goal by the end of this is that you can see what your world looks like when your team stops being a request fulfillment center and starts being a team that actually has time to do marketing. So let's jump in. So the first thing you'll notice when you land in Brandfolder is that it actually looks like your brand. The header, the logo, the favicon, even the URL, all of that is customizable. So when your team lands here, or when a franchisee or agency partner lands here, it's not just some generic tool, it's your brand's home base. And that first impression matters for adoption. And as I scroll down here, you can see that everything is laid out visually in a thumbnail view. And one thing I want to call out here, Brandfolder auto thumbnails over 200 different file types. So we're not just talking about JPEGs and PNGs, we're talking about source files, PSDs, AI files, InDesign files, videos, even YouTube videos embedded directly in here. Whatever your team is working with, it shows up in a format that anyone can preview without needing the native software. And DAMs only work when people actually use them. So if your team can't find stuff visually and quickly, they'll go back to email. Brandfolder is consistently ranked the #1 most usable DAM on G2, and that's not an accident. So let's talk first about how content is organized. The first layer is what we call sections, your top-level content categories. Logos, photos, videos, templates, documents, whatever makes sense for your team. And when I click into logos, I'm immediately brought to just those 4 logo assets. I don't have to scroll past everything else. Now, the other layer that is really powerful, especially for teams that have grown out of folder structures, is labels. Labels live on the left-hand side here, and they feel a lot like folders. You got your hierarchy, your nesting, all of that. But here's the key difference. When I go to add an asset to our labels there, I'm not duplicating it. That asset still lives in one place. I'm just referencing it from multiple places. So if I have a hero image that's relevant to our spring seasonal ads, and it's also part of our social media assets, and it's in our agency's package, I don't create 3 copies. Instead, I add it to 3 labels, and it lives in one place. One update everywhere. For teams managing multiple locations or franchisees, this is a big deal. No duplicate content drift, and everything ties back to a single master. And then we have these pins up here on the top. And these are essentially saved searches that admins surface for users. So instead of someone having to know how to construct a search, they just click the pin. Let's see assets that are not in a collection. Let's see what assets have been expired. Let's see what content needs my approval right now. And for franchisees especially, I love pins. Instead of a franchisee in Phoenix having to figure out where anything is, They land on their page and their pins are right there. Promotions, local marketing templates, approved logos for their region. Done. Okay, so the visual navigation is great, but realistically, especially as teams get more comfortable, people just go straight to the search bar. And the search in Brandfolder is one of the things that genuinely surprises people when they see it. So right away, you'll see that it's predictive. I can start typing and it's going to start suggesting things from our seasonal ads to our Sonata logo and our business card template. It's not just searching file names, it's tags, custom fields, descriptions, embedded metadata, text that appears inside documents and images via OCR, and even spoken dialogue within videos. So the goal is that your sales rep who has no idea how your asset library is organized can type in plain English and find what they need. Same experience as Googling something, no training required. And when I open an asset, I want to show you a couple of things. First, each asset in Brandfolder acts as a container. So I might have the main image, but also a photo release form attached to it, or multiple renditions of the same file. They all travel together. Wherever this asset goes, all of that context goes with it. Now, looking down at the tags, we'll see two types of tags here. The solid border tags, those are manually added by your team, and then the dotted border ones are the AI auto tags. So when an asset is uploaded, Brandfolder scans it, and it's going to automatically pull out anything someone might search for. Objects in a photo, descriptive words, anything recognizable. So your team isn't manually tagging every single file just to make it searchable. That work is done for you. And then we have custom fields, your organization's own metadata layer. These are key and value pairs that you define. Campaign, channel, region, product line, language, whatever matters to your business. And these show up as filters on the left-hand side, so users can drill down without having to type anything. And for a franchisee model specifically, you might have a region custom field with a value for each market. So a franchisee in the Southeast can filter to just assets tagged for their region, their file type, and their channel all at once. And back in the asset under the metadata tab, we can see Brandfolder has pulled out all of the embedded metadata from the file itself. Color palette, EXIF metadata, and importantly, that OCR text. So any text that appears in an image or document gets extracted and made searchable. If somebody's looking for an asset with specific legal copy or a product name visible in the photo, it's indexed. So finding content is one thing, but making sure people are always working from the right version and that expired or unapproved content doesn't end up in a client presentation or a franchisee flyer, that's where this control layer comes in. So under the workflow tab, we've got full version history for every asset. Every version that's ever been uploaded is tracked right here. And here's what makes this powerful in practice. If I upload a new version of this photo today, it doesn't just update it in the asset library, it updates it everywhere. Every collection it lives in, every share link it's been distributed through, every CDN embed where it's being used on a website or in an email campaign, one update propagates everywhere automatically. So your sales rep downloads this photo or a logo on Monday, you upload a new version on Wednesday. The next time that rep goes to Brandfolder, they're getting the new version. No stale assets floating around, no which version is this conversations. And this is what solves the our reps are using old decks problem. The deck lives in Brandfolder, marketing updates it once. Every rep who pulls it from Brandfolder or PowerPoint gets the current version. For licensed content, seasonal promotions, or anything that has a shelf life, you can set expiration and availability dates right here. So if I have a Q4 holiday promotion asset, this should only be available between November 1st and December 31st. I can just go ahead and set those dates directly in platform. And then it is going to automatically push the content on November 1st. And then on December 31st, it'll disappear from end user view automatically. It doesn't get deleted. It goes back to admin only visibility, and the content is still there if you need it, but your franchisees can't accidentally use a Valentine's Day asset in July. And the platform notifies you ahead of time, so you're not caught off guard when something your team is actively using expires. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to show, especially for any organization with distributed teams, franchisees, or sales reps who need to create localized materials, but absolutely should not be touching the design. So here we've got a templated asset. And what I want you to notice is that as an end user, I can change the headline. I can change the subline. And I can swap in a location-specific image, update the call to action, emails, websites, phone numbers, etc. But I can't adjust, some of the design elements within here. I can't change the colors. I can't move those design elements around, and the brand stays exactly where it should be. And here's the part that makes this scalable. If I update this master template within InDesign, every instance of it updates. So if you run a rebrand or update a campaign theme, you're not chasing down 60 different versions of that flyer across 60 different franchisees. You update once. And then your franchisee in Denver can pull up their template, swap in a local promotion, download print ready or digital assets, all without ever emailing your marketing team. And nothing they can do will break your brand. So we've got the content organized, it's findable, it's controlled. Now, how do we actually get it to the right people? And there's three main ways that we think about distribution in Brandfolder, and they each serve a different need. So collections are going to be our primary tool for distributing content to specific groups of people on an ongoing basis. The analogy I always use is a music library. Think of your main Brandfolder as your iTunes library, everything you've got, and a collection is like a playlist. It's a curated subset of that library for a specific audience. And the key thing is you're never duplicating the files. It's the same asset, just referenced from a different place. So here we've got a collection for our external ad agency. They can come in, they can see 157 assets, exactly the ones that we've decided they should have access to. They're not browsing through everything we've ever created, and they can't accidentally see content that isn't meant for them. They get a clean, curated view with the same search and filter experience that they'd have in the main library. And same thing for our sales team. So we can go to our sales tools collection here, where we can see that we've given them self-service access to 28 assets. And when a rep opens PowerPoint and connects to Brandfolder, the only thing that they would then be able to see is what's available in their collection. Pre-approved decks, one-pagers, case studies. They can't go off script because there's nothing off script available to them. When we update an asset in the main library, it automatically updates in the collection. And these people are always working from current approved content, and you control exactly what they can see. And now, for situations where you need to get content to somebody quickly, a vendor, a new partner, a specific team for a specific project, this is where share links come in. Literally 2 clicks, and I can have a link that I can send to anybody. But there's more control here than it looks. So I can require people to enter their email address before they can view anything, so I know exactly who's looked at it and when. I can set an expiration date on the link. I can toggle assets to view only until someone requests a download. And if I need to add or remove content from the link after I've already sent it, I can do that. And whoever has the link will see the updated version the next time that they open it. So these aren't static links. These are living, manageable distribution points. And if something gets shared that shouldn't have been, you can kill the link. And then for anything else that needs to live somewhere else on the web, your website, email campaigns, your CMS, this is where the CDN comes in. Every asset in Brandfolder can generate a CDN embed link, and the magic is exactly the same as version control. When you update the asset in Brandfolder, it updates everywhere that that link is embedded automatically. So if your logo is on your website and your HubSpot email templates and your Salesforce Marketing Cloud campaigns and you do a rebrand, you don't go track down every place it lives and swap it out manually. You update it one time in Brandfolder and it's done. And speaking of HubSpot and Salesforce, we have direct integrations with both. Your marketing team can pull assets right from Brandfolder into HubSpot emails and landing pages without ever leaving HubSpot. Same thing in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We also have a Chrome extension, so wherever your team is working on the web, they can search Brandfolder and drop assets right in. For your design team, there's a direct Adobe Creative Cloud integration, and for your broader team, the PowerPoint integration is free out of the box, which is a big deal for sales enablement. Also important to this is that guest users, so your sales reps, franchisees, agency contacts, are free and unlimited. You pay for the admins managing the platform, and scaling this to hundreds of users across your organization is not a conversation about adding hundreds of licenses. Last thing I want to show before we wrap up is the analytics layer, because this is something a lot of teams don't expect from a DAM and then end up using constantly. At the individual asset level, I can see everything: views, downloads, shares, where it's organized within the library, which collections it lives in, which share links it's a part of, and if it's embedded via CDN, which specific pages it's on and how many views it's had in the last 30 days. There's also an asset score, which weights all of those signals together to give you a quick sense of how much traction a given piece of content is getting. Are people downloading the new one pager, or are they still going back to the old one? Is the video getting views or just sitting there? You can actually answer those questions now. And at the library level, we have the full insights dashboard: top performing assets, most active users, an event feed of what's happening in real time. And this is the one I always like to highlight: the top searches. So you never know what people are going to type into the search bar here, but when you look at what they're consistently searching for and not finding, that tells you exactly where your content gaps are. Maybe your team is constantly searching on a photo of people smiling and nothing comes up. So you can click view to see what returns when somebody actually searches on that specific term. This is a really practical way to let your users tell you what they need without anyone actually submitting a request. And all of this information that we're seeing here from the Insights tab exports automatically every 30 days into CSV reports or syncs directly into Smartsheet or whatever business intelligence tool your team uses. And to close this out, we've got this nice visual, because here what you can see is that everything I just showed you doesn't sit in a silo. Brandfolder lives in the center of your existing marketing tech stack. The content you manage in here flows out to your email marketing tools, your web properties, sales enablement, your agency partners, your internal teams. It connects to the tools you're already using: HubSpot, Salesforce, Adobe, Google Apps, and more. So this isn't a rip and replace situation. It's adding a single source of truth to the middle of everything that you're already doing, so all of those tools are working from the same approved current content. To bring it back around, what you've just seen is a platform designed to be the one place that your entire organization goes to find, use, and distribute content. And I know that's a promise that a lot of tools make, but the reason Brandfolder consistently delivers on it is usability. It's the most intuitive DAM on the market, consistently ranked #1 on G2, and that matters because DAMs only work when people actually use them. And what that practically looks like for your team: your marketing operations don't spend half their days fielding asset requests anymore. Your sales reps always have current approved content one click away in PowerPoint or in a collection built for them. Your franchisees can create localized materials without ever touching your brand guidelines. And your agencies work from a curated, controlled library that you manage, not from a Dropbox folder from 6 months ago. And the model that supports all of this: unlimited free guest users, your reps, your franchisees, your agency partners, all free. You're paying for the admins who manage the platform, not for every person who needs to access content. And if you have any questions or want to follow up and get a more advanced demo, feel free to reach out to us at brandfolder.com.